Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It's a pleasure to see you here this evening. My name is Jane Shodel. I'm the lead programmer for the special presentation section, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the North American premiere screening of Other People's Children, directed by Rebecca Zlotowski. I would like to thank our lead and major sponsors, Bell, RBC, Bulgari, and Visa, for their continued support. Thank you to our major supporters, the Government of Canada, the Government of Ontario, Telefilm Canada, and the City of Toronto for their continued support. This film is eligible for the People's Choice Award. Vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. And we would like to thank Wild Bunch International for providing us with this film. Thank you. And thank you, yes, let's shout out to Wild Bunch, yeah. And thank you to Unifrance for their generous support also. Rebecca Zlotowski's feature films include Belle Épine, Grand Central, Planetarium, which was also a Gala Presentation at Tiff in 2016, and An Easy Girl from 2019. She also directed the television series Savages, which made its world premiere as part of the festival's primetime program. Other People's Children is a piercingly resonant film that stars Virginie Efira as a woman for whom new love awakens an intense and unexpected desire for motherhood. Virginie Efira gives vibrant yet nuanced expression to her character's inner conflicts with a mere glance. So much of what happens in Other People's Children is recognizable, yet arrives with the force and power of revelation. We're very pleased to have the opportunity after the screening to have a conversation with our guests. Please join me in welcoming writer-director Rebecca Zlotowski.
Thank you very much. I feel overdressed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Toronto. You're the best. You're one of the best cities I've ever met. And I think you know that, guys. I think you love your festival, and this is something that a French person is not used to because we're so used to hate everything, including ourselves. So it's thank you very much for making us breathing your air progressively. You know, the curiosity you have, the open mind you have, so thank you very much. Okay. This is the very first time I'm very emotional today. I'm going to be illegally emotional because this is the first time I show the film with my vibrant, amazing actress, Virginie Efira, and she's with us tonight. Thank you for being here. This is my third piece of work that I'm honored to show at Toronto Film Festival TIFF, and I feel my therapy is getting better with this film. If I say that, I don't want to say too many words because I always fear that I block people before seeing the film, and we'll be there after. But I feel it took me ages, a long, long time, maybe 10 years before just telling a simple story that was a personal story. Maybe because I felt it was not worth telling it, not worth enough, and I feel that it was time with this film. Maybe also because sometimes you don't feel touched enough by yourself, and you need an actress like Virginie Efira to feel touched again by what you write and felt. I hope you really enjoy the film, and we will be there after to answer your question. Bye-bye.
We're so pleased to have the opportunity to have a few minutes of conversation about the film. If you have a question, please put your hand up and maybe wave it like this. I'm going to step out of the light so it helps me see you. Also, if you could keep the questions as concise as possible, it helps me, it helps the interpreter, it's all good. I will repeat them for the benefit of everyone else in the house. So I think that's it. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating director Rebecca Zlotowski and Virginie Efira.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, do we have any questions for our guests? No? Yeah, people just want to take photographs of you, apparently. I actually have a question. This is my second time seeing the film now. This young girl who plays Leila is so remarkable. Can you talk a bit about how you found her?
Found the actress or the character?
Both.
The character, I didn't have to make that many research, because I could use, cinema to enter some super forbidden places. But this film was maybe made, after the COVID time. We were just stuck in our places, in our domestic, conjugal lives, civil lives. And I was really staring in front of me. And I felt that even if I took a detour first, to make this film, like adapting a novel that was supposed to be on male impotency, a novel from Romain Gary. I know it's pretty far from the film, finally. But then I noticed that finally it was looking at myself. I was this woman, nearly 40 at this time, raising children that were not mine, with my boyfriend, and wanting to have my own family, and feeling that something was lacking. And also when I looked in the representation, in the fictions, when I wanted to see how other filmmakers took this character, I noticed that it just was not existing. Of course, it existed some stereotypes about like the stepmom being, in the Disney films, very mean, cruel, like terrible women. But I could not find the woman I was experiencing in my inner life, and that a lot of people around me were experiencing as well. And that's how the film began. And then I found Virginie.
Yes. And what a great day that was. Are there any other questions? Yes, there, please.
I really loved the transitions between the scenes, the black vignette. Was there like a reason that you chose that particular transition?
She really loves the transition between scenes, with the camera closing and opening. Can you speak a bit why you made that choice?
Yes, thank you. It's a poetic tool that's called like iris, closing at the iris and opening at the iris. And my DP, Georges Le Chaptois, does it with his hand. It's called the mano negra, so it's a little bit more organic and more physical than the mechanical one that, for instance, Truffaut uses, or for instance, the silent movies use, usually. The idea, like the challenge, the mise-en-scène challenge of the film was how to depict 1 year in the life of this woman. 1 year that is very, very difficult to live and very heavy to live, because it counts like 3 times. It's not just months, it's like years. So I really wanted to see how seasons, but not only seasons of the weather, but seasons in her life would pass by, and how time passes by differently, and how it stretches for women and even men that are, companion of those women at this moment. And the tool, it's a very simple one, very poetic one that cinema, gives to us. And I felt that it was a very nice moment just to open and end the chapter. For instance, Nouri Bilge-Ceylan or Arnaud Desplechin, they would have maybe put, like a black moment with just chapters. It was a literary effect, and because I feel that in the film, there is like the origin of the novel I wanted to adapt, an origin of literature, an origin of, this kind of melodies, and it was the appropriate tool to me.
Okay, right. I'm looking against the light. Yes, in front, thank you.
Congratulations on the film, and thank you so much for bringing it to Toronto. One of the great things about Virginie with your performances is that you convey so much emotion in your face, especially in the scene in the shower where you started to see, okay, we're not having a baby right now. I'm curious, Rebecca, was there a certain performance of Virginie's that you saw where you thought to yourself, this is the perfect person to cast for this film?
The gentleman is complimenting Virginie on her performance, and he's asking Rebecca, was there one particular performance of Virginie's before that made her know that she was the right one to play this part?
I wanted Awa to still translate so I could say like freely how much I love her without her being, you know, just feeling very embarrassed hearing that. This is not easy to do. It's not just one performance that struck me, but a lot of them. But not only a lot of them, the fact that she was loved and desired by a lot of filmmakers, French filmmakers. Maybe all the films have not been, you know, to Toronto here and to you, to this audience, but there's a tremendous amount of filmmakers, and especially female French filmmakers, that can project in Virginie Efira's work. And I feel that there's a reason, not only because she's the great actress that you saw, I hope that I pay tribute to her amazing talent, but also because I can feel that the kind of femininity she builds is something that I can relate to. It's not like a muse. It's not even if can I? Okay, let's talk about you like and pretend you're not here. Super awkward. But yes, there's no muse ether. It's not like a fantasy, a question mark. I'm a great admirer of Philippe Garrel's movies, Hong Sang-soo movies. But there's still something in their films where I can find that the femininity is seen by someone else. And this is the beauty of the relationship they have. With Virginie, I really wanted, I would say, a sister. I would say someone that I can relate to and that can bring a certain like malehood, childhood, and femalehood in her femininity. Do I answer the question?
Beautifully, thank you. Virginie, I would like to ask you a question. Rebecca has mentioned that she had never saw a character like this on the screen before. Was the complexity of this and the uniqueness of the role, was that what drew you to it?
First, I want to excuse my English, which is maybe the worst English that you'll never heard and will never hear. I'm really sorry about that. I will try to answer in English, but maybe nobody could understand me.
She needs to be encouraged. She needs to have like some...
The thing, ce pourquoi j'ai choisi ce film, the thing, oh non, j'aimerais bien, I want to try it in English, but it's because it's her movie. I see her first movie, Belly Pin, and I remember it like shock. You know, at this time we buy DVD, and after, no, someone buy DVD now? Yes? 10 years before, yes. And I buy, after see the movie, I buy DVD and offer to all the people that I love most in my life. I felt a connection with her, with what she wants to tell. You understand me?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We have some friends in common, but some time Rebecca called me to say I have a proposition for you. I said, incredible. I go in a place, close the door, say, okay, I call her back. Yes, Rebecca? And she told me, yes, I think that all the French actors must be, doivent participer, se mobiliser pour les élections européennes. C'est comment on dit? They have to mobilize for the European election. Say, oh, yes, of course, but that was not a movie. Okay, but I do the thing for the election, okay? And after we met and she gave me these things. When I read these things, the scenario, was for me a huge emotion, I'm sorry, a huge emotion, like something I have inside, but I never know that I have that inside. It was so intimate. And after on the set, it was like a connection. Rebecca go very fast in her head, and sometimes it's difficult to... But in one time we be together, on était ensemble, quoi. We were together, yes. That's a good way to understand what she... Oh, putain. I prefer to try, but...
You have an Eastern European accent when you speak English. What? Where does your Eastern European accent when you speak English come from? There's a mystery. She's like a Serbian.
I hope these two make 1 million movies together. do we have any more questions? Yes, right here. Go ahead.
Avant le film, vous avez dit que vous avez peur de rencontrer des histoires comme ça, mais j'ai vraiment aimé le film. Comme Rachel, quelle était la partie la plus difficile pour vous, comme Rachel dans le film?
Now you will have to interpret for me.
He said, no, I will.
Well, thank you for giving me a job to do tonight. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Yes. So when you said this before the movies, you said that you felt that there was a very personal part of the story that you didn't get a chance to tell. So like Rachel, what was the hardest part for you while doing the movie?
Thank you very much, Awa. And I must say that, as I told you, like just before the screening, you have a job that I respect above all because this is my father's job. My father does exactly what Awa does. He's an interpreter, and he plays in the film. He plays Rachel's father. So there's something. So it's the beginning of the answer of your question. There was something. It's my 5th film, and I did also a TV series. It's something that someone you're ashamed of when you're very, very deeply and frontally in the story you tell. But though, and I can tell, like for instance, I'm a huge admirer, for instance, of Mia Hansen-Love, my fellow French filmmaker, because she knows how to depict a very personal story with a lot of pudeur. And I've been, she taught that in a way to me when I was reading and like seeing her films. It was a challenge for me. This is the answer. It was a challenge for me to feel entitled to do that. And also maybe because, and if we want to seek deeply, because maybe I felt it was minor. Maybe I was not deconstructed enough, even myself, to feel that those very feminine, domestic subjects, supposedly, were not major subject, but not minor subject, but major one that could bring us together. It would be things like in a woman's and in a man's life that are very, very deeply important at a certain moment in our lives. It took me some time. Is it very interesting? Like, I don't know if you understand what I mean, but I'm moved to answer you.
It's very, very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I don't mean to pry, but why do you feel that you could do it now?
Maybe because there's 2 reasons. Maybe because I felt that I could have the tools, even cinematically, to tell the story, to make it simple, to approach it with very simple tools, and to allow the actors to be in the first, aspect of the film. And maybe secondly, because the industry itself opened to some new narratives and opened it very warmly. My producer, when I came with the subject, said like, yes, let's do that. This seems super interesting. And then the people, the distributor, said, this is so interesting. Let's do it. They read it in the night, and bam, it was. This film has been a very nice journey. Financially, it's a small budget. It's not like it did not ask for a lot of money, but still, sometimes you encounter a lot of resistance. I did not encounter that. And then it won in competition in Venice, so I could tell that it was welcomed, it was desired somewhere. People were, it was time. It was time to understand that not only because our hearts need to identify more to the real stories that we're experiencing in the civil life, and I feel that cinema was a little bit late, but also because there's like an economic emergency to that. If we want to have our audiences coming back to theaters. In Europe, it's been, a huge debate because people were not coming there after COVID. And I feel that we have the responsibility to deconstruct stereotypes, to deconstruct narratives, to bring, characters that are just loyally looked at, loyally depicted. And it comes, in this case, it became a little bit, shy. I was a little bit shy because it was very personal. But also I took the risk to be very local, so to maybe, meet people in the heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have time for one last question right there, please. Yes. Yeah.
I can't believe that you said that you thought it wasn't worth telling the story because, and I've never seen anything so accurate and screen. So, you know, the feeling of inclusion and exclusion in a relationship that is always where you as the stepmom or the girlfriend are never going to be the priority. It's very, very emotional. I'm glad you brought it on screen.
Did everyone hear that? Yes. This means a lot. And she said she can't believe that you had some hesitance around doing this. She has never seen anything so accurate on
Thank
screen.
you. That's why I said that therapy is going well now. It's better. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm afraid that was, we've run out of time. I'm very sorry, yes, I know, but it's true. Please join me in congratulating this amazing film team on a beautiful, lovely film. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Jane.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Take your bow. And thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you, bye bye.